wake up. You might want to hold on to that torch, friend. Light's more important than food down here. I'm afraid you won't be going back up there anytime soon. Not with that void stone coursing through your veins. There ain't no cure for that here. Down's the only way.
Hello, my Moany fans, and welcome to a brand new type of content here for the channel. Today I share with you some footage from a stream we did earlier in the week where I sat down with Dav from Mammoth Factory Games. They are producing the Dark Descent Kickstarter. You've just seen the trailer, but if you'd like to hear more information about it, I sit down discussing everything from stat blocks to inspiration, who is Daniel and why they're so important, and the wonderful amount of effort that went in from the Mammoth Factory team into this project. If you are interested in checking it out, the link is in the description below, and we will be talking about it throughout this content. Please enjoy.
Hi, I'm Dav. I am the director at Mammoth Factory, and apologies for my sniffles because I'm a little bit clogged. Me and Mike have met on UK Games Expo, I believe. Was it?
Well, yeah.
This year, Mike came up to me and gave me the biggest pitch the most impressive pitch I've ever heard in my life about, like, I'm a dreamer and I'm a painter. And I'm like, okay, fine, help my lilies, fine.
How very accurately dare you? That was incredibly accurate.
And it kept going and kept going and kept going, and I was like, you convinced me a long time ago. What are you doing? So we had a great chat. We connected, and then I told him, hey, there's this big Kickstarter that we're doing, and I would love to tell you more about it and what it is, and maybe we can paint some things together, and maybe we can work together. And there we go.
There's literally, actually. So I look like I'm in a hole, don't I? I'm really not supposed to be on here. But yes, so welcome in. We are going to be talking about Dark Descent today. Now, for many of you, you've seen me be painting these on stream. I've got an absolute wall of minis behind me, which does include quite a lot of Mammoth Factory, including some I don't think you've actually seen before. I've got, where are the ones we did for this campaign? We're going to be talking an awful lot about this guy first. This is one of the Soul Eaters. I actually made a really embarrassing blunder with this miniature. And it's one of those things where it's like, does anybody notice I put him on the wrong base and his bum's floating? And then I thought, you know what? Actually, he looks even weirder for it. And I really like that. This idea that he's just sat on his knuckles. And for the whole campaign, nobody questioned me. Not one person. They all thought this is delightfully weird. And it works. So one of the things I've got to ask you today is, what on earth is this creature? And why did you make it so horrifying for casters?
Right. Well, that is a voidborn soul eater, and it's basically kind of the boogeyman of the setting. So, Dark Descent is a Dungeons and Dragons kind of 5e setting in which it's like subterranean Australia, where you send a bunch of criminals down below, and it's a bit of a different kind of Underdark where everybody's a criminal, and there's these factions, and there's all these untold and ancient histories. And while you're down there, you start as a criminal. Everybody's branded with their crime, whereas you could be like, a demon worshiper, or maybe you've killed someone, or you're a traitor, or maybe you've been framed, or whatever the reason you are down there. They throw you down there, and then people just get malnourished and die usually because it's a very harsh environment. But there is this city called Lowtown, and in Lowtown there's a bunch of these factions, these criminal factions, and you choose your allegiance, a little bit like in prison kind of, but you're not really in prison because everybody's a criminal, so everybody's kind of the same. And then you kind of go into these dungeon raids and trying to get all this loot to survive and to trade, and torches cost like a silver, one torch, 1 silver, right? So it's a pretty brutal environment. And one of the interesting things about the setting is this boogeyman kind of monster called soul eaters, or colloquially they're called mage hunters. Why? Because these soul eaters kind of roam the caverns outside of the city. They don't go into this kind of town called Lowtown. And what they do is that they can sense souls from up to a mile away. But souls of casters shine extra brighter. If you cast any magic, especially magic of 3rd level or higher, or continual magic like the light spell, they get attracted to you. That's why even casters don't use the light spell, because these things will come at you and they're brutal, and they gain HP by stealing your spell slots, and they're nasty. They're nasty, nasty, nasty. And it really sets the tone for the campaign of like, yeah, magic's dangerous. Don't do it all the time, because the boogeyman is going to come get you.
So one of the problems we find in D&D is as the game levels up, the Dungeon Master struggles to balance encounters. And the biggest advocates of power balance are wizards, druids, and balancing that. So the idea of these soul eaters kind of bringing down the casters in a way that, you know what, I've had enough of your nonsense, right? I'm going to bring these out. It's like when I get into my campaign, if I ever bring out slats, that's when the players know they've messed up. So during the campaign, you can find quite commonly that a creature that has effects outside of just hit you, outside of just counterspell, outside of just give you exhaustion, you can do an awful lot. And I think the idea of eating spell slots isn't something that's traditionally in the DMG. So you've built an entire world and an entire campaign around almost playing differently. So how did you get from playing your standard TTRPG to this is my world, these are the creatures in it, and making it punishing of the nature of Dark Descent, which I'm going to be showing some more of in a moment, but also it's still entry level? Because if I just quickly flip a screen for one moment, the campaign we are looking at is Dark Descent, but it's made up of a few modules that are all built together. So this is, for example, the Land of Blind. So this is where I was first made aware of the Soul Eaters. This is incorporated as part of your campaign. And first of all, the artwork is absolutely astounding. Whoever your artist is, please pat them on the back 3 or 4 times more.
Thank you very much.
But
Thank you.
just if you walk your way through here, the first thing I notice is you always have a DM shortcut. One of the very
Yes,
first.
that's one of my favorite things. Yes.
So how did you get to doing this? Because a lot of, like, Wizards of the Coast haven't clocked onto this. Pathfinder's barely clocked onto it. Major publishers haven't clocked onto doing things like this. So where did your need to almost improve the base layer of TTRPGs come from?
Honestly, I am just thick. What I mean by that is that I'm very dyslexic and I need all the help I can get to get through things. So because I struggle going through these big books with a lot of text and stuff, I want to make things as accessible as possible. That's why all of our PDFs come with these like connective links, and there's all these little DM tips, in those little red boxes. And there is like a very clear readout that the DM can just read out. And it's not too complicated, the language. Like I go over with all our writers and I'm like, nope, you can't use that word because maybe a 15-year-old from France wants to read this out to their friends and they don't want to look stupid not understanding the fucking word,
Speaking of,
but yeah,
I've got a really funny story that's going to tie into this.
Oh, yeah.
And I promise you're going to love it and hate it. So we were doing a stream and one of the viewers came in and they were talking about how I think it was their nephew or godchild, was a really talented genealogist. Now, I'm a dyslexic, very out and proud dyslexic. And I read the chat and I said, wow, was he gifted with warm hands? I misread genealogist as gynecologist in front of 100 viewers. So I have embarrassed myself. So one of the main things I did growing up was I read comic books as opposed to prose. Now, the reason I like the comic books is everything is bound in little boxes. All the text is relevant in one little space. everything that I need relevant to the situation I'm reading is put into these little areas like this. So the way that you presented everything for me has been really helpful as a dyslexic. So yeah, thank you for that, just straight up. So this is just a small sample of what I've known you for. So how have you managed to expand?
That specific PDF, Land of the Blind, is one mini arc that was released early access to Patreon specifically, and it's 1 out of 7 in this campaign. So all this art is like not final art. We're going to improve a lot of the art, improve a lot of the setting. It's already very good, but we're improving a lot of that. Like we some of it is very good, some of it can definitely be better, and we're hiring a lot of artists. But yeah, we do. So this is another good example. This map that you're showing now, maybe the stream is in delay or whatever, but like we really like explaining like this is there and this is like that distance away and this is that distance away, and we really try to make it super handy for the DMs to know what they're doing.
I love the fact that you've included time as well, because one of the problems with doing things like a one-shot or a mini campaign is a lot of younger or inexperienced DMs don't actually know where the campaign is going, and they don't know how long it takes. So they're like, oh, we'll just play for 2 hours on a Sunday. 8 hours later, people are stuck, or they spend 5 minutes in a room that's just a wardrobe. So you've really taken this for a beginner direction. As I've said with the Solies, you've taken into account high-level play. So how does your team get together and referee this? Because you've got a lot of wiggle room.
Right. How do we do this? So there is me, and there is Daniel, and there is Lucas. These are the 3 main writers. Me and Daniel. Oh, my face I think is black again somehow. Oh, there we go.
When it transitions, it'll be a mo.
No problem. So yeah, we have a writing meeting every Friday, and we meet and we discuss worlds and names, and oh my god, we argue about names so much. Because so we all have different backgrounds and different influences. Look at that. Yeah, that Mac Noble looks
Doing a busy bee.
very nice.
I'm just going to show off some of your miniatures while you keep going, because there's so many.
Yeah, that's no problem. So we meet every Friday and we discuss things, and we talk about, because we have to consider, for those who don't know, at Mammoth Factory we make 25 to 30 STLs every month with like a 50-page D&D supplement that is play tested, which is absolutely nuts. We're just a crazy company. And we really like miniatures, and we really like stories, and we're kind of story first. So we tend to meet on Fridays for 4 weeks in a row, and we come up with whatever it is that's going to be released 3 months ahead of time, and then we come up with it, and we alternate who's leading the book, whether it is me or Daniel, the head writer. Sometimes I lead with the story, sometimes he leads with the story, depending on the book. This Dark Distance specifically is by Daniel Smith. He is a fantastic writer.
It's the other one, so I don't spoil it.
Oh yeah, the opening is great. Yeah.
So this is Disciples of Darkness, the Blood Witch I've just shown off, and the Prince of Desire are both from this. First of all, the amount of red, brown, and purple in this, yet everything stands out. Again, your artist is absolutely on point. Like, bring their A game here. Another thing, and this is very small, but something I mean, I do a lot of work in miniatures. I know a lot of art books. I know a lot of companies. They're burying their artists and they're burying their writers, and they're not giving them credit. There's a certain company I won't name, but it's run by James Workshop, and it's they bury their artist and they don't give them credit. Yet the second page, you are fully listing people. So by doing this, have you attracted new people in the industry to come and join your team? And is there anybody who surprised you?
Oh, sadly, it's the other way around. Sadly, we get poached. Yeah, we get poached. Our competitors that make more money than us go to our credit section, then reach out to our artists and go like, "Hey, here's double the money," and then I don't blame them. They go because there's a lot of people who are very loyal to us, and that's great. But the truth is, we're a very small studio, and some of those bigger studios have double, triple, or quadruple million times the amount of budget we have. So we train them really well, and then they fly out of the nest, and that's okay.
Decency that other people aren't, even at, like, I don't want to say a personal cost, but you spend your time and your investment, and I really I know it's not something a lot of people want to talk about with their business. And obviously you've
Mm,
opened up to us about
yeah.
it today, but the fact that you are crediting artists and you're one of the few people who do, and it's all over your campaign, it's all over your modules,
Mm.
like everything, like I can go to your artist on Discord. Like I can physically
Yeah.
go, you're the guy. That's really cool. And your Discord is a very active community with a lot of painters who do go to the artist. Hey, what is this? Like, tell me more about this. How can I make it work? Your community is strong. It's built. It's a constantly
Thank you.
active Discord.
Thank you very much.
Your artists aren't shy about getting involved, but please do not bother the artist. If they're in a thread and they're already talking about it, I'm sure they'll be happy to help you. But please do not go inboxing artists. Just a little disclaimer there. But
Yeah.
like, it's so nice for you to have an approachable Discord, an approachable community. And now I can only imagine this campaign is massively extending that.
Yeah, I mean, so the interesting thing about Kickstarters is that most people like getting resources and maps and monsters and items and lore and stuff like that, but they don't tend to actually like running unless they're like, oh, I don't have idea what to do, which it's great. I mean, those customers, get fed with a silver spoon from us because we give them exactly everything they need. So they can run it exactly as we write, which is awesome, and they're very welcome to. But the truth is, that's maybe like 20 or 30%. Most people just take bits of it, and that's also great. So the reason we did the Kickstarter is because we actually wanted to do a whole setting guide and like a resource book to have 70 spells and 40 battle maps and new gods and blood alchemy system and voidstone sickness and new races and new subclasses, and there's just so much um very interesting kind of grounded subterranean kind of, I want to say, horror dark fantasy theme that many times when you play D&D it feels very ungrounded. It feels very like, oh, the gods and the demons and the this and that. Here, it's scarier because it's more grounded and it's more connected and it's not everything's clear. The gods don't talk to you. The certain ancient civilizations disappeared a long time ago. A lot of places are eerily quiet, and when something happens, it's kind of like, I wouldn't say it's a jump scare, but it's like it's a big deal when something happens and you slowly discover dark rituals, and it's kind of like Breaking Bad but fantasy, right? Like, because you have to. So sorry, I keep jumping ahead of myself, but basically in the first chapter, what happens to you is that you go down, you're chained, you're in this if you actually jump to the Kickstarter campaign, I can tell you what to show because that's probably easier. If you go down, keep going. There's an area called Campaign of Corruption. If you see there on the left,
Just here.
yeah, there you go. So that's, you see that cart there. If you zoom in on that, so you basically start the campaign like this. You're chained. You're in some sort of like cage, being led down into the vast dark beyond. And what happens is that this card is going miles and miles deep down beneath as a prisoner. You're going as a prisoner, as a criminal. And then something attacks you on the way to Lowtown. Lowtown is this criminal undercity. And the cart gets attacked by something. The torches go out. People die. You get knocked out by the cart falling to the side. Everybody wakes up in pitch black. Some people are dead. Some are injured. No equipment. No starting equipment. Forget it. And then you need to find your way in the darkness, slowly collecting, basic items. Oh my God, I found a sword. Oh my God, I found a magic focus. And then even though you're starting at 5th level, because it's a difficult campaign, it's pretty tricky at the beginning. And then what happens is before you even get to that city, you get infected with something called voidstone sickness. I saw some people throwing it out in the comments, so thank you, fans, for talking about that. The voidstone sickness, basically, there's some dark ritual that you interrupt and you get infected with voidstone sickness, which is basically kind of eldritch kind of curse, which slowly but surely kills you and also makes you mortally allergic. Is that the sensitive to sunlight? Like you basically die if you encounter sunlight.
We
Or
call Space Marine players. They don't use it over out much. They get burnt in the sun.
exactly.
But
So
just like again, just going through this, you all stick to the same theme. There's not one piece of art that looks out. You're going on about this sunlight sickness. You're going on about infernalism. You're going on about that. Everything is to theme. Too many campaigns now, I feel, have to go. But we need Boblin the Goblin. We need a joke character. We need this. No, you've stayed on point. You've kept your image. And these are the races that are, in addition, available to play. Did these come before or after the campaign? Around the characters you wanted, or the characters around the setting you wanted?
Oh, it's all intertwined. I mean, this campaign has been written for 15 years. This is Daniel's baby. It's just one section of the world of Arad. So we have like 4 worlds in Mammoth Factory at the moment. They're all explained in our website basically. But Arad is Daniel's baby. It's like 15 years. He's, that guy studied. He has like a master's degree, in English and archaeology and history. He's amazing, and it's based on Sumerian gods and a bunch of other influences, like more not your classic Egyptian whatever things that have been used to death. Like it's more nuanced history that it's kind of taking an interesting take on. So it's very rich lore. It's very well written. It's done with good taste. If you actually go to on the left, you see there is a section called Make an NPC. People can actually on the left, down, there, yeah. That's all the new races. That's 8 new races from Dark Descent. And also people can pitch in to make an NPC themselves.
That is something I've already done, actually. I've immediately went for my saddest NPC. Don't know what it is. I just went, you know what? Let's make people cry.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the things that is coming about is you hit the nail on the head with Egyptians being used left, right, and center. The Greek are being used left, right, and center. There was a new campaign a couple of years ago called Mappamundi, which went through, I think it was Indian kind of culture and D&D themes based on it. And it was one of the most unique I've found. So how have you been so able to keep on task and away from every other TTRPG supplement? Because with respect, if you open up Kickstarter, you're flooded with every TTRPG supplement. Everyone thinks they're a writer. Everyone thinks their world is the most interesting. But how have you managed to keep Dark Descent at the front of your kind of momentum, hold it to its core values, and make it stand out from everybody else?
Like I said, Daniel's been writing it for 15 years, so it's just really he has a very clear understanding of what the world is. Honestly, Daniel doesn't really like fantasy that is silly. He likes things to be grounded. Also, I mean, we did playtest this game twice, which is crazy. Like the whole campaign twice. One kind of. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. There was 3 players and then 5 players. I was in both playtests as a player. One of it just for half of it, and the other one also for half of it. But it was yeah. I mean, basically, me and Daniel started like a podcast before we started Mammoth because it was COVID and everybody was depressed, and we just wanted to do something. So after we would play D&D game when I was the DM and he was a player, we just ended up after the game, 4 or 5 hours of game, we would just stay and talk about it. And we're like, we should just record these talks and put them somewhere. So we started a podcast at the time, and basically, yeah. I mean, the answer is that basically Daniel really respects history and the players, and trying to make things grounded. And he's been doing this setting for a very, very long time. And it shows. Yeah, that's the only answer I can give.
No, honestly, I think you could tell when people are doing a money grab, and you could tell when people have their passion in it. There was no need for a book to be 450 pages like this campaign if it wasn't made with love. It's easy to produce a 50-page here's my adventurers, level 1 to 3, pay me £1 million to do very little. but you've offered a really introductory rate price with a lot of content, which you didn't need to do. Like, being honest, I've been in the TTRPG space for a long time. I have seen some absolute crap put on Kickstarter. Absolute,
Yep.
unbelievable. Some of it doesn't even get published, even though it's been funded. But you've had an exceptional launch. Your campaign has been very well talked about in communities. It's been across Twitch, YouTube. I've seen it pop up in different areas. I've seen YouTube shorts with people just talking about how nasty certain creatures are, yet how blood alchemy is a region that people have always wished they've been able to approach, but not been able to approach. So I do think you've done something pretty magical. First of all, you are the first guest I've had on to talk about their campaign,
Hey.
because I'm a channel who will actively call out the bad things. So people who I invite on, I must be very passionate about. Now, I'm just going to pull you back to playtesting just for a moment. Worked with some big companies. I've worked with some, I'm not going to say who and what, I'm not going to be that guy, but I've read a bestiary where they had a CR1 creature with an AC of 16 and 75 hit points. Now, to give you an idea, CR half is about a bandit. It's a low-level rat fella. Has there been any characters that you've created and sat back and gone, "Oh my, oh, are we horrible? Are we mean?" Look, like you said, you play tested it 2 or 3 times. Was there anything that stood out to you during those play tests that needed a little bit more love, a little bit more tuning?
It's nearly always things being some things. It's interesting because you write this creature and it has all this lore and backstory of why it does things, and the DM knows, but the players don't. So it's actually we've done,
Insight checks as it is, like, it's quite and appreciate.
but it's not the point. You see a monster and like many times just like, oh, fight, and then I do my attack action. Brr. Oh no, we've done actually one of the things of this Kickstarter that I'm super proud of is that we've done something called death journals. And death journals, because basically you have to kind of go into the caves to scavenge and delve into dungeons and find resources, because that's how you survive. You need to get powerful, you need to get magic items, you need to get gold to buy food and get influence and power in this world, and to survive, really. And one of the things so a lot of parties from low towns, they go into the caverns and they die, and people don't really know why they die, but usually they don't die by an intelligent creature. It's some sort of monster in the caves. So people keep journals in black books that they just kind of like, oh, and we heard this and we smelled that and we took this corner and we drank this water and da 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 da. And then the idea is that if you find a group of dead people, it's always like, oh my god, they might have a death journal. We can find them. So we're gonna make a bunch of death journals that people can find. It's a little bit like that scene from Lord of the Rings where they find all the dead dwarves in Moria, and I said Gandalf reading that old book. It's that kind of thing, right? But we're
Should think about.
just gonna do.
I've never really done anything kind of post the death of a character. I've done the, like, a bandit's got a letter from his son and you should feel bad. Like, but I've never really, like, escalated the plot with that. I think it sounds so obvious now out loud. But these are things that a lot of DMs have never had to do. So I've never thought about doing them.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
and there was what was the,
And
was the game for that?
it's just a little anecdote there. We have also a stretch goal that we haven't revealed yet, which is uh how do you call it? Misdirection death journals, which when, like, for example, when the dark elves kill you in the setting, they leave incorrect death journals that lead you to your doom. And there's ways to identify that they're fake death journals. Right. So anyway, it's pretty brutal. Like, oh yeah, the death journal says to avoid this area. Let's go in this area. And this massive monster just attacks you on sight.
So, slight spoiler for my campaign, and this is based off something I read online, and I had to include it in my game. Players always go, "I've got dark vision. I can see. I can do this. I can see." Okay. Well, you open up the cave, you walk in, and there's a gorgon that only you can see. Oh,
Yeah.
you're being petrified. And it's like, I love that kind of subversion of skills, the subversion of direction. So things like death journals leading into that kind of situation, I can see being very potent. Certainly when you've got things like the Soul Eaters, like, oh yeah, definitely set some nice big lamps off, hold up a magic spell to ward things away. That'll be great. So is there any particular favorite kind of misdirect you like putting in your campaigns?
Oh no, I'm not. I mean, I'm not gonna give those away. Those are the truth is that they're not. I mean, there are so many ways to play this campaign, and there's so many different, win states and lose states. Because there's a bunch of different factions, and you, as players, you got to choose who you're choosing to support or not support or backstab. Because it's a dog eat dog world down there in Underdark, Australia. So it's you gotta choose your factions, you gotta choose your sides, and maybe turn on some, and maybe go on both or double agents. And actually, you're kind of looking at those kind of UNT inspired, what we call Sral. It's our snake inspired kind of. That's one of the 7 collections. Exactly. No spoilers, Mike.
No, this book can do
The whole
you.
thing is a spoiler.
It was your Coils of Dread campaign that brought me to. I went straight to your table and I went,
Was
got these,
nice.
and I really enjoyed them. I'm doing a whole campaign based on UNT. Do you have the book? Yes, we talked about that. We looked at the models, we went through it all, and you went, keep an eye out. I've got a campaign coming soon. You're probably going to like. So here we are, back here today with exactly that full circle scenario. I just want to talk to you about UNT generally because I think they're underrepresented in the TTRPG space. Now, they're my favorite race. Deception,
Interesting.
poison, strength, magic, they've got it all. Now, when you've got something as iconic as that, how easy is it to promote your own non-traditional monsters alongside stuff that has this big history?
I mean, you make adaptations. I mean, the truth is that we do love the original UNTs, but we wanted to give it our own flavor. So we made that they have this kind of cloning lore instead of like a different, kind of thing, and that they have they have a whole different god system, and they do a lot of espionage because they're actually one of the oldest races in this campaign. I'm not gonna reveal too much, but they have a very unique lore, and they're very old players. They feel like they're playing a game that nobody else even remembers that exists, that kind of thing.
Yeah, because they are really the offshoots of the primordial races in the D&D universe. Now, obviously, yours isn't crisscrossing too much, but you do keep your game unique enough to be yourself, but not alienating traditional players. So, for example, anybody who joined in the stream now can go, UNT, or at the very least, snake folk. I know those from D&D, or I know those from Conan the Barbarian. You've always done this thing in Mammoth Factory that I've really liked. I'm just going to go to your My Mini Factory page. I know it's a bit of a sidestep, but if you are to look at your campaigns, you've got what I would almost call like an earth thing to you. So every time that you do something that takes you into your own territory, you also go, but this is familiar. And I've always liked that about you. So you've done things like Disney-ish campaigns, but you've wildly taken
I will not
away.
say that officially.
It's actually
What is Disney? I've never heard this word.
never heard of that at all. But like anybody looking at this right now, whether they're into the miniatures, whether they're into their tabletop RPGs or just their cinematic universes, they will start to recognize things and bring you over. Have you ever felt that you've had to cross into communities that maybe you were surprised by?
I don't understand the question. Sorry, please repeat.
So, for example, because I've played Warhammer, it's also attracted people from LARP communities. Have you ever had people who are not from the miniatures world come across and go, oh, that's cool. Tell me more about this. Is that something you see quite commonly?
I mean, it's a really interesting thing. We have quite a lot of varied customers. We have customers everywhere from people just like lore because the writing is so good. That's actually why one of my secret intentions is to make so much money that I can allow Daniel to write an actual novel based on his setting. But that's I mean we need to make $1 million for that. I don't think that's gonna happen, but who knows? Who knows?
If I would be really down for that, because
Oh yeah, me too.
again, just the art.
I don't want to read it.
for everything would just be amazing. Like, one of the projects we first worked on together was bringing this Hydra to life, and it was one of my most popular Instagram posts. And when I told you
Okay.
about it, you had an element of frustration. It was a wonderful frustration, I promise you. And you went, "People forget that hydras are aquatic." And it's like,
Yeah.
people forget they're waterborne. And I was like, yes, somebody
Yeah.
gets it. And it's just such
Yeah.
a nice view of almost what lies beneath the creators. So seeing the
Yeah.
passion that you had discussing that with me, and then seeing how far you've taken this campaign, it is really inspiring. And to know that there's more people on the team doing it, and obviously Daniel is carrying a heavy weight to it. Like,
For this book
massive.
specifically, yeah. We do, yeah. There's a bunch of different, like it's kind of interesting. There is a limit to how much someone can write. Creativity on demand is definitely it's easy to underestimate that. That's why we alternate. Like I write, he writes. There's Lucas is also our head of operations. He's also the best DM I know actually, and he's also one of our lead writers as well. And different projects are led by different people with different flavors. There's more like kitchen sink stuff. There's more like eldritch stuff. There's more like this dark fantasy stuff. So we have a bunch of different flavors, and hopefully to hit something for everyone. But it's kind of it's the creativity on demand is it's tricky. So it helps to take a break and be more like a support role for a couple of months. So we tend to write books either every 4 months or every 8 months, depending on what kind of like the scale of the project we want to do. So for example, when we did this kind of like fairy tale inspired Not the Mouse kind of thing, we were like, okay, this is gonna be probably pretty popular because people grew up with this kind of stuff. And so we were like, okay, that'll be 8 months. But then we were like, maybe we want to do this like ice focused campaign. How long should we do that? And we are like, oh, let's do 4 months. 4 months of ice stuff is enough. Not everybody likes ice things. So we always think like, how popular would this be? And if we see that things are really not popular, we make them shorter. And if like only 3 months or whatever, and if things are really popular, sometimes we extend them by a month or two. We try to be flexible like that and follow where the energy is, if that makes sense. And then later, sorry, yeah, go ahead.
It does. One of the big things as well is my mini factory puts a lot of pressure on creators to bring out a lot of stuff every single month. And you tend to find that the quality gets watered down. So hearing that there is course correction, passion, and like a listen to audience in 2025 is really good to hear, because throughout the COVID era and the 3D printing boom, there's been just a lot of rubbish. So seeing that you're being listened to, that development is part of a bigger 15-year project for Daniel. For yourself, you've been running Mammoth Factory how many years now? It's been quite a few, hasn't it?
4 years in October.
Yeah,
Just
so
about to hit
big
4 years.
birthday party coming up soon, I'm assuming.
Yep, big
Yeah.
birthday. Exactly the end of this campaign. That's gonna be the birthday.
Under the get of the bubbling. Is there anything in the 4 years that, maybe not including the campaign and then including the campaign, that stands out to you? Was there a particular month, a particular theme, a particular model that really sung to you?
Ooh, are you asking me what's my favorite model that
Yes.
got remade?
I don't mean just the one that looks the best. I mean, like, as a complete package deal, because for me in
Oh, you
my
mean as a
games,
collection?
I get emotionally attached to a creature. Like, I like Koreds. Koreds are just little fey creatures who look like little old men with wild
Yeah.
hair and clubs and little feet. But I love them in a way that other people will not appreciate, because they're tricksters. And what they can do is they can wall off people, isolate them, and they're surprisingly powerful. So when I have them at the
Right.
table, I'm like, this is a creature that represents exactly how I want my game to go. Is there
Right.
anything for
Right.
you that does the same?
Mm. Absolutely. It's actually my one creature contribution to the whole Dark Descent campaign, hilariously, which does not have an STL yet. That needs to still be unlocked via the stretch goals, potentially. And those are called Twilids. Uh, because I went to Daniel one day as we were going through Dark Descent, that when we were doing the early access for the Patreons, And I was like, Daniel, why does everything want to kill you? There must be some sort of creature that people can talk to, like one thing that is not death, you know? And he was like, yeah, well, it's a dark setting, it's this, it's that. And I was like, no, let's just put one thing that is like, you know, chaotic neutral, right? Just one thing. And we've done a few since then, of course. But one thing so my addition to this campaign, they're called Twillets, and they are colloquially called torch eaters. They are small, fey people, and they don't actually need to eat to survive. To their fey, they're dark fey, but they basically got addicted to eating torch resin. So they would do quite a lot for torch resin, but they're also spiteful. So, like, you can negotiate with them by giving them torches, but sometimes they'll go invisible and eat your torches. So, and they're intelligent, so they can give you advice and you can pay them in torches, but if you fuck them over, they'll fuck you over bigger, like it's in a bad way. So that's kind of my joy for this campaign for sure.
I love that. So in just a moment, guys, I'm going to open up questions to anybody in the chat. I know a few have come through.
Yeah.
A few follows as well. Thank you very much for Echo and Lapid following. I know we'll be wootling on for a little while, but as obviously we're big old nerds. For me, there's a phrase that I think incorporates my D&D and DM styling. It sees the silly, because if you're constantly hitting the same note, grim, dark, bloody, everything, you need something to bring you back. I did an introductory campaign and I annoyed one of my players to the point that they nearly quit. He was playing a ranger and they were in a swamp, and I said, right, the beast is coming towards you. It's got 2 eyes, huge predatory eyes in the night. I draw my bow and I shoot it between the eyes. And I went, right between the eyes. And he went, yeah, nat 20. And I went, amazing. Misses. What? And he goes, I'll shoot it again. I can. Roll the dice. 19 plus 7. Misses. Right. Are you sure you want to keep shooting it between the eyes? And he's like, yeah. It's a creature I created called glows. They're toads that glow. And they form mating pairs and they protect each other because their bellies light up like the eyes of a predator. So it was just 2 toads hopping side by side that he was so infuriated he couldn't shoot. And they were totally harmless. And yet, looking back at the campaign, he went, that was one of my favourite moments, because you respected that my character was good at their job, but you made it silly and fun when we've been running around surviving a swamp. And then 2 days later, they were hit with the spore mines, the gas spores. And he went, oh, it's just another glode. No, it's not. So they didn't like that. But
Nice.
yeah, it was a really good fun. And I do think that silly has its place even in the darkest campaigns, because
Absolutely.
it's something that Wizards lost on the way. They used to be passionate people writing passionate stories about fun adventure. And I do feel that a lot of everything has just been beaten into the average. Like, it's the average adventure doing the average shopping with the average characters. Let's get wild with this. Let's go super dark 1 minute and then comfortably light. And then when your players kind of find that resonance, you can sit in the middle of it and build a story around them. If you just do this paint by numbers rubbish, it doesn't work. So, hey diddly ho. Right, I need to quickly scroll the chat. Unfortunately, the camera is misbehaving on my end. I do apologise. Hack and Slash, wonderful 3D modeler and friend of the chat. How much of your lore is driven by the art versus the lore versus by the writers?
How much the lore is driven by the art? Is the assumption that we do art first and then lore after? Because that's a very funny assumption. Because that would be incorrect. And that's actually because many times what happens is that in different mediums, like for example, one of the ones that surprised me the most is when comics is drawn first and then they put the text later. That boggled my mind. I could not believe that it's done like that. So no, we're actually story driven. We write story first. Wait, I tell a lie. I half truth. So basically, we come up with. It depends on the set. It depends on the collection. When the books go hard, and it's completely original, we do a lot of research to be like, okay, we want to do this tone, whatever this tone is. So, for example, one of the books we put on the shelf for now. No, maybe that's not a good example. Okay, we did a whole book about dragons called The Immortal Flame. And that was 4 collections of dragons. It's fucking awesome. The first collection is these kind of like militarized kobolds and a time dragon, which is awesome. A Cronus dragon. And yeah, it's 4 sets, and this is like it's like a draconic invasion. It's very military. There's like being behind enemy lines and all this kind of thing. And this was very driven by, us wanting to write a war story, like a proper war story with siege and like, kind of resource management and, spies and, espionage and, the horrors and of war. And like, there's one of my favorite things in that thing was, we have, sorry that I'm going on a tangent. I really like Scapate.
Actually, really similar to something I've been looking for. So keep going, please.
There you go. Yeah. So the Immortal Flame, I think in the second, I think it's the second arc. You start a game session. Your players start a game session, and you give them stat blocks or like character sheets, and you're like, you are now this peasant. 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 You're in this village. You are this old and you have 1 arm, and your husband went to war, and you're like, it's all the leftover people when everybody went to war. And then like 1 ascendant, which is our large dragonborns. They're like the ones with wings. They're like 50 mil base. One of them lands in this village and proceeds to kill all the villagers. And you're just a bunch of villagers getting slaughtered. And then as one villager falls after the other, then the players arrive exactly as he kills the last one.
Nice.
That's the scene. And I love it so much. It's so cinematic, and it's so much fun to just give players a character and then kill it. It's just great. We're definitely story driven when we can, but we do a lot of market research of like, okay, hey, have we done a Tarask yet? We should probably do a Tarask. It fits here, like, so some minis, and then so we do story, 2D art, and then 3D art, right? That's kind of like the order usually, but sometimes we think about the end customer and we're like, okay, miniature people would like this kind of mini, so we should do that, right? So it's a bit of both.
I'm glad because that ties in, because D&D, I've always said, it's not one crowd. The mini painters are one crowd. You've got the writers, the novelists. You've got the people who just want to roll dice and play a war game. And you can never really truly balance it just to one position. Diddly ho. There was another question from Aphelion much earlier in the stream. How much of what you enjoy in your writing and has been presented in your Kickstarter comes from a love of things like Darkest Dungeon?
Yeah, that's funny. I've never played that game. Daniel has played that game. The amount of the times we use the word dark in the book is an Easter egg on its own. We haven't decided yet because we haven't finished the writing, of course. That's what the Kickstarter is for. But yeah, there will be an Easter egg on its own. Basically, it's been referred to. Daniel has played it, but the truth is Daniel has started to write it, and a lot before Darkest Dungeon came out, I'm pretty sure. So nothing. I would say nothing.
Nothing at all.
No. No. But it's also in the dark and it's down below the earth. So, something. I don't know. Yeah.
So, any more questions from chat coming on in? Chris is coming and gone, I missed the start, but militarized kobolds. So, there you go.
Yeah.
Right
I mean, go check out the Draklings with a double K, I think. Draklings collection if you're into military.
Cool on My Mini Factory.
It's on the My Mini Factory, correct. So,
head over there.
on the top left, yeah.
Nice to see more bases of reasonable size.
Yes.
Oh, hello, Sam.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah. Yeah, that's what, and there's the guy with the pans. Just so that people don't say, if you go back to the, did you see the guy with the pans? He's my favorite.
yes. Oh my god, I got so blown away by the almost like watercoloring of this.
Yep. Yeah, it's a time dragon, so it's kind of like nebula themed. Yeah, it's like a oil wash a bit, that's that kind of thing.
Right. Like one of the things that I end up doing on this stream a lot is going through people's releases every month, looking at the concept art, and it's like the amount of questions we get. It's like, what are they thinking with this? What are they? And then once in a while, it's just like, no questions. This has been completely and utterly well explained through a visual. Why has that kobold got 2 frying pans? Who cares? It's a kobold with 2 frying pans. Like, it
Yeah.
just
So look at those abs. Look at the abs on that
I
kobold.
feel
He
like
needs it.
he's trying to kind of like herd everybody along. But on the other hand, he's the happiest kobold in his job ever. Because one of the things about kobold lore is they are intrinsically made to enjoy their job. And it's like the
That's true.
opposites of D&D. Yeah, so they're into basically commons under a dragon. And they don't want to be bigger. They don't want to be highly successful. They have this kind of community well-being in mind, and they're biologically programmed just to do their part and enjoy doing it. So you got a couple, there's a kobold deity, I forget his name, and he was one of the rare ones who wanted to ascend to do better. So that made
Right.
him special. But this guy, fully loving his job. Like, it gives me that, I know it's probably not what was intended, from the mats, run the peak.
It is.
Uh,
It is. It is.
he just got
He feels like,
human peak. He just living his best life. This is
well, I mean, the nice thing about that specific adventure, and we're kind of going off on another tangent here, is that in that adventure, you get caught by this time dragon. You're level 3. It blows this nebula at you, and you just basically pass out because it's way out of your league. And then you wake up, in a kobold prison, and all these asshole kobolds have all your gear. They just flaunt it in front of you. One of them is wearing an oversized armor from the knight, and one of them has the staff from the wizard, or whatever. And you're just stuck there, kind of hating these motherfucking kobolds, And then when you finally manage to break out, you have this rage for your captors, and you just hate these kobolds, and you try to get your equipment back. But you need to be really stealthy when you're trying to get out of this base, because they all have horns, and if they blow the horn, then the dragon comes back and you recapture it all over again. Right?
this
It's
is it. Small creatures written well can be threats at high levels.
oh yeah.
It's a completely lost art. Again, kobolds can be the scariest creatures you ever go against, or a running joke. Like this guy here, I've got a question in the chat. Is that a mask or an actual face? I would believe it either way with a kobold. Straight up.
Oh, that is
question
mask.
asked.
That's a mask.
So it is a mask. There was another question.
What?
What is the one enemy or mini that Mammoth Factory haven't got round to yet, but you wish to be made?
Oh, I mean, it's actually being made right now. It's been a long.
Made Kickstarter or made as part of an upcoming tribe?
No, it's made of a comic book release. There are 2 things that are coming out that we've been wanting to do forever. One is a Tarask, which is released next month. No. It was released this month. Oh my god, I think it's the last 2 days to get it, actually. Tribe price.
Flip over to the tribes. For anybody who doesn't know about tribes, it's a monthly subscription service. You can go through Patreon or My Mini Factory, and you get a wonderful welcome package, which includes a lot of miniatures. You do get a discount on the store for any supplemental purchases. Loyalty schemes, the lot. But every single month, you get a little message from Mammoth going, by the way, can I tempt you with these? And behind the scenes, this is what you do. You seduce us. That's what you do.
Yep. So, oh, wait a minute. So
Rask. Look at
yeah.
that.
Yeah, so that's 150 mil base. It's stupid. It's ginormous.
Absolutely
It's so
huge.
big.
And that's
Yeah,
what
which
real boy.
Interest should be. Interest should be. Yeah, that's the real boy, if anybody likes some Pinocchios. So basically, yeah, the Tarrasque was something, and the one that's gonna come after that, which is a tiefling demon set, we're doing a Balrog.
Ooh, very
We're doing a
nice.
Balrog, and he is fucking
Now is a
awesome.
guy here. Holy moly.
Oh, there he is. He's
Also,
actually improved
appreciate you
since
for
then.
putting scale there. Like, not enough people do.
Yeah, no, he's improved a lot since then. That's still work in progress. But
No,
yes,
like the scale you have to produce these miniatures. I don't just mean like the physical one, but every month you make so many. Like,
yeah,
I can't like look. Finally, tiefling with tails. Do you know how many people have forgotten tiefling tails over the years?
yeah.
Like, people always go, "Oh, tieflings, yeah, the one with wings." No, there's different variations. You can
Yeah.
you can do hairy, furry kobolds, tieflings. Tieflings are generically quite adaptable, so it's nice to see that people
Yep.
are taking more variation on them. But yeah, these are all
Absolutely.
early reveals, early renders of what's coming next month. So if anybody likes these, they are up for grabs very soon.
Yep. A bunch of tieflings. Sexy tieflings. Old tieflings. Fat tieflings. Elven tieflings.
I like the fact you've got
Yep.
like both soft and aggressive tieflings. Like, yeah, this guy's going to stab you in the gut, but then if you just want a more passive NPC, you've still got variants on that as well. Like, there was something else we were going to show, wasn't it? So there's the Dark Descent, which we've not actually gone through the full packages yet, so we will wind down with that. But let me just bring you back to the campaign because we are beginning to run out of time. I do apologize.
Absolutely.
But for me as a creator, for me as a mini painter, this is an absolute dream of package because 200 STLs is just a bonkers amount. But then to be given the ever sought after hardbound books, the click clacks, the DM screens, the cards, like how easy and how hard is it to kind of stay on target when you offer so much?
It's an interesting one. It's definitely a game. I mean, I would say the thing is, when you produce, you need to produce quantity. Otherwise, it's not financially viable, right? If I need to make, books, I need to make 2,000 books. Otherwise, it costs too much to make each book, and I don't make money, right? Even if produced in China, like you gotta make at least 1,000 book. Let's say that if I don't make 1,000 books, so anything you want to make, you need to make 1,000 of, or 500 of, or 300 roughly. That's the absolute minimum, and usually then the margins don't exist, and you just end up losing money. But that's okay for certain things. Like for example, sharp edge dice, which are only in the all-in tier. I'm not gonna make money from that. That's just like I make that so people can get their shiny, and I like that. And I love fucking that. Like they're so pretty. Like
They
yeah,
really are.
go get them. That's awesome.
I have your orange set of
Yeah.
these, and I've got a player at my table who's a little bit blind, as in
Yeah.
near enough completely blind, and they can actually read them. So these are,
And
they're not your standard, is it 16 mil dice? You've gone to the larger size. They're a
slightly
little bit
larger,
bigger,
yeah.
and they're visual, they're well presented. They're not just the standard glittery dice from Temu that everybody's throwing in nowadays. So I do
I mean, the
appreciate
truth
the
is,
extra effort.
I actually I hate those orange black dice. I think they're stupid. We did a bad job with them. If I can be honest with you, I don't like them at all. They're readable. They're readable. They're good.
That's a baseline, and I'm already impressed. And you've gone back and
Okay.
gone, you know what? I want more. Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing.
If you scroll down to the tiers, you can see them better. If you click on the left on the tiers, you can see the dice a lot better. And these dice are fucking gorgeous, like the ones we made for.
Well, let's just start here and work down because, like I said, I want to make sure I do
Sure.
full due diligence before we leave. For anybody who's got a 3D printer, spend $1, get a dragon. Simple. Like,
Yeah.
there you go. That's the lowest tier. You get a damn nice dragon. You will have to print it yourself, but if you've got a printer, that's par for the course.
You can see the dragon right below it as well.
That is gorgeous.
Yeah.
So many dragons. Yeah, I keep finding room for more.
Yep.
It's like when you showed me the necrotic dragon from a few months ago. And
Yep.
I opened it and I played it. I went, this is huge. I've got no room for it. And I just pushed a shelf aside and went, this is where you sit now. You are front and center.
That's nice.
So yeah, from here on, like PDF options are great for me because I often, when I'm managing a D&D campaign, I take screenshots and just kind of storyboard rather than just constantly stride for a book. So always love a PDF with the STO. The fact you can get a campaign this cheap with 15 years behind it is just nuts. Again, glorious covers, really well put together. I've got a few of your paper adventures. The quality that you put in to, I think they're about 50 pages paperback mini adventures. Like for you to then go, okay, we can do bigger, we can do better, does excite me from there. So there's
we're gonna sort of most of this money is gonna go into art. That's where the money is gonna go, mostly. Somebody said like the $1 dragon. Yes, it's just $1 dragon. It's to get you on the page and go take a look at it. That the dragon usually sells for I think either $15 or $20 MSRP. So yeah, definitely snag that dragon if you have 3D printers.
so you've also got full Roll20 support as well, all built in.
Andrew.
So there's no excuse for a DM to be unprepared. You could literally go buy this when it's delivered. You could play it the next week. Like you could play it the next day. You've really created a get up and go package.
It's one of our mottos. We have our motto. One of the mottos in the company is play anywhere. And we want to make sure that a DM can, if they want to go all out, they can like have the physical printed maps with the printed miniatures or even physical miniatures. There's some physical miniature options as well. So physical miniatures, digital miniatures, paper minis, VTT token, digital map, physical maps, like wherever you want to play, we're going to support you.
Well, that's it. Like you've labeled this tier game ready. Like, any idiot could literally walk in and go, done. Let's go. Let's roll with this.
That's probably the best deal is game ready, if I'm honest. I mean, even technically now there's I think there's a few spots left on the early bird. It's not called early bird. It's called limited spots all in tier. I think it's the first 200 or something like that. It's like $40 off. We'll get there later, but the game ready is fantastic.
Yeah,
it's really good value.
Yeah, we are in 2025 where our pocket money isn't going as far as we like. So having something that's this inclusive and yet you don't feel like you're missing the core is really important. And I think a lot of people are missing that now. But
Absolutely.
there's the better look of those dice. They are lovely.
Yeah.
Again, I like Spacity. Where are the nice amber ones? They're in this one, aren't they?
They're all in tier, yes. Yeah.
There you go. Oof.
They're pretty.
They
They're
are absolutely lovely. But yeah, the full
actually the best thing actually about the all in tier is the 40 printed maps. They're called large printed battle maps because it's 33 by 22 inches.
Oh geez, full table
map. It's a full table. These maps are awesome. They're all play tested. So if you go all in, you get stupid good value. Because if you try to go and print that type of map on any like kind of, shop, like a print shop or something like that, it will cost you 20 quid, 25 quid, maybe even more.
So I did an A1 battle map and it cost me £9 on the cheapest grade paper. And it crumbled after one game.
That's cheap though. That's surprisingly cheap.
I had to do some deals to get that. And he went, oh yeah, don't worry, it'll be great for D&D. It'll survive a German spit. Like, no. D&D people making D&D things. I did a video a little while ago for Dungeon Tiles on behalf of Dungeons and Lasers. And people were asking me like, oh, can you destroy it with a screwdriver? Can you destroy it with this? Can you do that? And I'm like, all right, can we actually test it against things that they are going to be exposed to? First thing I tried was pizza grease. Like the amount of people who reach for food and then touch my table or spilling Coke, stuff like that. So I appreciate realistic, like well-quality, tangible, experienced, I don't know, forethought, I suppose. So yeah, good quality, built properly to live is a big thing. And I suppose as well,
Say that again. Say that again. Sorry.
So are the items here all exclusive to the Kickstarter or just on a much better
No.
value deal?
Just much better value. Definitely.
That's what we like to hear. Because honestly, with Kickstarters, it's the
There are many exclusive things, especially the stretch goals. There is like a bunch of epic miniatures that are only on the Kickstarter.
Me open up a few of
So
these. So these are your playable races, and you've added, is it one of each as a NPC?
there is a total of 8, but it's 8 not from just the races. They are from they're a mix of the races and the subclasses. There's a total of 12 new subclasses, like one subclass for every class. And on top of that, there's 8 new races, right? And they're mixed. So we showed all the new arts to our patrons, and we're like, hey, what do you want? And then they voted which ones they liked the most. And then based on how many pre-campaign followers, for every 200 campaign followers, they've unlocked another mini based on what the patrons wanted. So then they managed to unlock 7. So they're getting 7.
Very nice. So even more subclasses. So how deep do your stretch goals go? Because obviously we only see what gets unlocked in the next one. Have you got quite a lot in the line? Like if you go into...
We have everything up to 250 at the moment. I don't think we'll get much more than that, but who knows? I mean, it's already at 110 in 3 days, so
You
I might be wrong, but you know.
Like,
Yeah, but you see all these extra miniatures, all these extra miniatures are from like friends of ours.
Yeah, passing everyone, they're fantastic. I noticed you had one-page rules at the top there.
Yeah, Bestiary. It's all the friends, all our friends. That's from DM Stash. Like a lot of these miniature companies have, been helping us. And I used to work for my mini factory, actually. So yeah, we definitely, we OPR. Yeah, all of these sets, by the way, of this campaign, they all have OPR data sheets, and all have been playtested for OPR as well. So if you're a wargamer, OPR is one-page rules. Yeah. For those who don't know,
we've got quite a mix now because I'm a channel that will paint basically anything. You do find a lot of people come in and go, "Oh, you're painting that for one-page rules?" It's like, no, but I could be. So,
yeah,
Hack and Slash has offered some service there. Hack and Slash is a wonderful creator I've done a lot of work with. And,
I mean, you feel free to send me something over. I mean, we can definitely do something.
There's quite a lot of space on the internet and a lot of space in the TTRPG communities for lots of crossover. And I must admit, it's quite nice to see how friendly a lot of you creator types are in the STL space. It's very unexpected because when you come from, I came from a background of children's entertainment and stage work. Everybody's undercutting each other. Everybody's kind of
People do. Let's not make this prettier than it is. People definitely still undercut each other, but because I worked with my mini factory, like with One Page Rules, I was his account manager at the time. His name is Tano Gaetano. He's I mean, obviously exploded, but I'm the one who actually brought him into my mini factory when he had only 600 subscribers. 600, and he's like at 12,000 now, or 13,000, something ridiculous. So yeah, we're friends from a long time ago, if that makes sense.
fantastic. And he's else to, can I be bothered painting this? And
Yeah.
one of the big things that people go on about is the quality of 3D printers nowadays. And my first question is, can you paint 16K? Can you? Do you need 16? And I always have a little petty argument with people over it. And it's nice because, again, I don't mean to be blowing smoke up you, but you've got very entry-level miniatures that you can take to a very far-reaching skill set. And this is something I think a lot of people have forgotten about. Like, if you just want to paint, say, this guy here, just as straight flesh and cloth, you can do, but you could also paint all your tattoos. You could go all the way from purple through the flesh tones. You can do it basic. You can go into it hardcore. Like, I did some paint jobs for you as part of the campaign. Let me just quickly go back to this window. And you won't believe the speed I was getting through them. I probably shouldn't brag about how quick I did it. But things like this guy here, which I may have accidentally just snapped the sword off. Typical, isn't it? This guy here, and
It's definitely not a guy. I'm just gonna say I know
not.
it's pretty.
Well, there are some quite mammalian features on the front of that one.
Oh, there we go. Yes,
But things like this, like I managed to paint this in 4 hours, and
amazing.
with stream going on, like this one, I spent a day and I slowed down really working on the blends because I really enjoyed it. But you can do these really quickly. Like you can airbrush all that red in no time. The skill ceiling is very approachable and very smashable. You can literally, I've seen one of my favorite miniature painters is Chromatic Miniatures. They have painted a lot of the same miniatures I have, and they've gone such a different way and pushed it so much further than I ever will. I'm a DM who wants models for a table, who is here 5 days a week, pushing out as much content as possible. So for me, it's get miniatures done to a level a little bit higher than maybe the average gamer and show people that you shouldn't be intimidated by painting. You should be able to do things and have them on the table quickly. So last week we painted all 5 of the 50mm range as part of the villains pack, and we did them all in, what was it? 3.5, 4 days on stream, fully distracted. Like, it's something you can do quite easily. So if anybody's looking at that number and going, oh wow, we've got 200 minis, how am I ever going to paint them? Well, I just did the big boys quite quickly. So I'm encouraging you all not to be put off by the very large generosity number of miniatures that will be thrown your way. We will be doing some more of your stuff. Where are they? We've got some lined up for the tail end of this week, which are all part of my main campaign. These are your from your Coils of Dread release. These are the Half-Bloods. I think they're the Half-Bloods. Can't remember what they're called.
They're all Half-Blood. Yeah.
So I've got a nice big box of these to be working on. I think I've got one of every sculpt. I need to top up the primer on that one.
Look at that pose. Fucking love that.
It's great. I love the fact that they've
great.
got this is such a petty little thing I complain about. Can I please have some more surface area touching the base? Even with these light, delicate feet, you managed to create a surface area.
We've improved on that. Yeah. It used to be worse.
Oh my gosh, that's some absolute horrors. What else have we got? I've actually not got them on my Instagram yet, but I painted all of your kind of Arabian Nights guards. I've done all the ones with sabers. So I've got all of them done. These Glex, I've got more of them to do. These are my totally not UNT before they are revealed. Definitely not.
Oh, cool. Nice.
What else have we got?
That's already
your line worm to paint. That's
do you? Nice.
I absolutely love Remoraz. I love them. Not that it's exactly a Remoraz, but I love Remoraz.
No, it is. This is totally a Remoraz.
Yeah. Delicious. If anybody's not fought one, they will eat you, and every time you touch them, you burn. So,
yes,
I live it. Right. Unfortunately, I am out of time today. I will be having my daughter arrive very, very shortly. But is there anything else you would like to say to the Moan Zone, the people of the Moanly fans, before we head off? I will be spamming a link to your your campaign in the chat.
Just thank you for listening. And there's a few of those discounted all-in tiers. So if you want to grab those, they're gonna go out very soon. I think there's like 30 left or something. It's been a pleasure. Genuinely.
Thank you very much. And where will we see you next in person? Because I met you at UKGE. That's coming round.
We're going to Spiel. Are you coming to Spiel in Germany?
Looking at it.
You should consider it, my dude, because it's 200,000 people. It's an amazing convention. But that is far.
The big list. I said to myself, if I have a good September, I would make my way over.
Mine is not German. I'm just saying that we Mammoth Factory is going to be in Spieleisen, which is the biggest board games convention. I'm not sure if in the world. I think America has a few, but definitely in Europe it has 200,000 people. Spiel Essen, it's called.
So to give you an idea,
Right.
over 3 days, UKGE claimed to do 84,000 people. So triple that roughly, double, triple is a monstrous number of people. So
Yeah,
yeah,
crazy.
it is definitely on the cards as something I would love to do. If not this year, another year. The calendar for events is actually not that big in the UK. We have a lot of very small conventions that are not worth the drive, and we've got 1 or 2 really good ones. I went to Salute last year, UKGE, GriffCon's one of my favorites.
Aircon is really nice.
Yeah, that's what
I
I've
would
not done
I
yet and been told to.
they've expanded it. There's 3 aircons now, and they're all in the north. It's really annoying. But they're doing 3 a year, I think, which is
Well,
amazing.
I'm glad they're in the north. That benefits me, because I've got this thing, it's passenger princess syndrome. I refuse to drive, and I need a nice latte, and, I have to be driven very, very lovingly by my partner.
Is Aircon Manchester's meh? Oh, that's sad. The one in Harrogate is really nice.
Yeah, I've been told good things about that. I didn't even know they got to Manchester. Like, I think I was told about it the day before, by, Lions Tower, and they turned around and went, "Did you know that was here?" It's like, "I live here." No. But
Oh, that is fantastic to hear that it's
they don't get promoted the way they should do. Anyway, my friend, it's been an absolute privilege to have you as my first guest on it. Do apologise for some of the jankiness of stream technology. We were originally going to go live this evening when I built a whole new overlay and redid everything. And then we went, no, people are here. We'll just hang out with them. So
Yeah, exactly.
there we go. Thank you very much for joining us. Guys, if you do have any more
Yeah, pleasure.
questions, there is a comment section on the Kickstarter. So if you specifically want to ask about that, hop on there. Their Discord is very active as well. So you can always post in the general chat, and there is a dedicated chat for Kickstarters and Dark Descent specifically. If you've got any questions you think I can answer, feel free. I can always pass them on if I can't. But I've done my homework. So hopefully you're all Gucci.
Thank you to everyone who stuck with me this long. I know it's an incredibly long broadcast, but thank you very much for your passion and interest in what I do here on YouTube. If you do want to support the channel, do check out the Patreon and join the stream 5 days a week.